I'm often asked, what's the best exercise for everything? One exercise, Dave, just show me the exercise, and I know this is going to cure it all. Boy, if I could push the magic button or just tell you that one exercise that really covers everything, boy, I'd be a wizard. But I'm going to show you one that is very, very effective, and the one that I selected is really for your largest muscle group. It's really the power engine for the bike, for the run, and it also helps stabilize your body position when you're swimming, and that's your gluteals. And we think of our butt muscles back here, along with obviously the stabilization of your core, which this exercise also addresses, really is paramount to functional performance in all three of those sports. So even with the best athletes, the ones that are really refined, already fast, and I've gotten a lot of athletes that have been very good in their careers, and I've kind of tweaked a couple things. The first thing I look at is how's their core stability and their glute strength. And ironically, a lot of the best athletes are asymmetrical. They have one dominant side. They have one glute that quite often doesn't fire, and it's really quad dominant. So I like developing that symmetry with all levels of athletes, and I pay quick attention right away to core strength and also glute strength. So you're going to like this exercise. Core stability and spine strength go hand in hand with glute strength. And I always try to include those together because you can really maximize this big power engine back here, those glute muscles, if your core is nice and stable and strong. And this is a nice exercise that combines three different movements into one. This first one, and if you look at my position, I'm in the all-fours position or quadruped position. I've got my toes curled under the back, got the stretch cord anchored with my hand and the other end around my foot. You can be inside or outside of your knee when you're doing this. So the first one is just to go to hip extension or a straight back or a mule kick. And before I do this, I can actually set this up with my core by coming forward slightly and bringing my off foot, my non-working foot, that's my right one, just a couple inches off the ground. So now I have this off. I'm having to draw on my belt line muscle, my transverse abdominis. That helps stabilize my core. So I just now put a little more tension, and I don't want a lordotic back. I want to feel like I'm drawing in my navel towards my spine. First movement, go back to a hip extension, and as I'm doing this, you can check this in the mirror to make sure that your foot is dorsiflexed and not everted out here to the side. I'm going to be straight down, and I can lift it up just a little bit higher than my spine. So knee underneath the chest and kick straight back. Exercise number 2 is in combination with this. I'm going to go underneath. Here's number 1, straight back, and now I'm going to externally rotate or abduct my hip, and then I'm going to adduct it and bring it back in. So I can go just in this plane where I go abduction and then adduction, and you're working your glute medius and your minimus, your whole core, your TFL when you're doing this. And obviously in the hip extension, I'm working my glute maximus and really that whole gluteal complex. So I've got number 1, number 2, and number 3 is just nail pounding. Pretty simple explanation. Toe goes down, taps, and lifts back up. Toe goes down, lifts back up. And as I'm lifting up, I get a little more hip extension. I want to keep that leg nice and straight. The tendency on the down here is to do this where you bend your knee. Don't do that. Make sure you keep it nice and solid because you're going to really feel that glute activation. You can do 4 of these exercises, number 1, in a row. So hip extension going straight back or the mule kicks. 4 of the abduction, adduction exercise, and then 4 of the nail pounders. And you can also pulse it because you get great electrical activity in that glute muscle. So when I get it back here, number 1, number 2, which I really feel a tremendous load on that glute, I can kind of pulse it in combination to that nail pounding exercise. And this is going to make those glutes really scream at the end. I hope that helps. Try this one. It's easy to do when you're traveling. You can do it before you bike or you run to pre-activate it, get your core firing, and you'll be good to go.